Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Saunch here. Welcome back to yet another installment here on the Bodybuilding News Network. In today's episode, or one of today's episodes actually, we're going to talk about Blessing Iwodebu quitting Redcon1, his previous sponsor, I guess, at this point. We're also going to talk about Nick Walker leaving Hosstile, his supplement sponsor. We're going to talk about Samson Dauda, who is a Hosstile athlete and potentially one of the favorites to probably place in the top 6, at least, looking amazing in this most recent transformation photo he posted on Instagram. So stay tuned for that. It is musical chairs for me with my cats. They keep switching in and out, so got to keep the show going. And we're also going to talk about Missy Trescott in her most recent physique update, coming into the Olympia being the favorite to battle it out 1 and 2 for that title. We're also going to do a brief recap of the Legion Sport Festival so far. We'll talk about the Masters division in the Open and the 212. So if you're interested, make sure you stay tuned. And of course, if you are new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and liking this video if you enjoy this style of content. And let me know if you guys like the new backdrop. Put a lot of work into it, so I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully it helps with the quality overall of these videos. But like I said, let's go ahead and start off with Blessing Iwodebu. Now, Blessing, obviously, if you don't know, winning the Indy and New York Pro, I believe, this year, the back-to-back, the repeat, coming into the Olympia this year, debatably going to be one of the favorites to possibly place in the top 10. I know a lot of you really, really like him, and I do too. I like the guy as well. I'm wondering where he's going to place, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about him stepping away from Redcon1. Now, if you remember, recently, not too long ago, there was a lot of controversy and drama surrounding Redcon1 and Blessing, saying that they let him go or he quit. And then after not even a week, he announced that he was still with Redcon1. I think it was around him competing. They re-signed him or something of that nature. So, kind of saw this coming, I guess, if you really think about it. But I'm happy to hear that he is stepping away from Redcon1, one of those brands that, it's not a very ethical brand. And for them to market themselves as being like, I've already had a tangent on like how they weaponize being a veteran in the military, and they use it as a branding tool to, manipulate their audience into buying their products, when in reality, the products are pretty garbage, and the company itself is very questionable on their ethics and morality. So not a big fan, but happy to hear that Blessing is moving on, finding bigger and better sponsors. Maybe he'll go with Hosstile. Transitioning into the next story, Nick Walker. This story is still evolving as more and more information is coming out. Now, Nick Walker and Fouad Abiad have both kind of stated different point of views on the split. Nick Walker saying that he didn't like the partnership. It didn't feel like it was a good fit for him anymore. I guess recently Nick Trigilli talked with Fouad Abiad on the phone, and Fouad said that Nick declined a 2-year sponsor contract that was going to include like a signature line for his own supplements, or his, like a signature line within Hosstile. So whatever, I don't really know how that matters when it comes to this. If it's not a good fit for you, it's not a good fit for you, and you need to step away. I think a lot of the comments, I had a lot of people reach out in the comment sections of one of my recent posts saying, hey, that's why you don't mix business and pleasure, or friendships and business, pointing to James Hollingshead, how he never signed with Hosstile, which would have made so much sense, since he's always on the podcast. But you can see that, Ian is not with Hosstile. Guy Cisternito is not with Hosstile. You got to think of all the other guys that are on there. Most of them are not with Hosstile, except maybe Samson, Nathan Epler, Paul, I guess. Technically Paul, not throwing any shade, brother. But yeah, Paul definitely gets hooked up with the supplements and whatnot. But there's a big reason why you usually don't mix business and pleasure, and I think that that's going to be a great lesson for Nick here. He's still a really young guy. He's my age, 28, 29. Just had my birthday 2 days ago. So Nick is going to be learning as he goes through. He's still really young. He needs a good mentor to help him kind of navigate these waters when it comes to maybe not exactly making impulse decisions, but just understanding what he needs to do in certain contexts and how he can present himself in the best way possible. Coming out and making a video kind of like when the wounds are still fresh isn't always the best decision. It's sometimes better to just let it settle. You know, let the drama people, the Generation Iron, the Nick Trigillis, let them kind of stir the pot with that negativity and create something chaotic. Let those guys do their thing, but step back, take a moment, wait for all the information to come out. Let the dust settle and then make your statement. I think that he would benefit greatly from finding a mentor, someone like he really looks up to Jay Cutler, so maybe he hops on a call with Jay before he makes that post and says like, hey man, like what should I do in this context? Like how should I approach this situation? And I'm sure Jay would have loved to help him out. Jay Cutler is a good dude, so that's pretty much that for that conversation. I wish Nick Walker the best of luck with his returning, going back to Matt Jensen for his new coach, or his new coach. I don't know how you say that. And also him hopping into the new market for potentially a supplement sponsor. Also him coming 10 weeks into the Olympia, definitely a favorite to move up in the ranks. We're looking at third, maybe fourth place. It's going to be a hard lineup, but I believe he's going to do very, very well. But of course, please let me know your guys' thoughts now that the dust is kind of settled. What's your real thought on this? Like, how do you really feel about Nick Walker stepping away from Hosstile? I'd love to hear your guys' unfiltered thoughts on that. Moving into Samson Dauda. Samson looking phenomenal. I mean, goodness, this guy. I was so shocked when I saw this recent transformation from him. I almost didn't believe it. But if this is true, 10 weeks out from the Arnold Classic and then 11 weeks out for the Olympia in the same year, it looks like classic physique versus open. It looks like he's put on so much size. In the camera angle looks very similar. It's very similar to the same time period out within when we're referring to contest prep. It's just an amazing physique update, an amazing transformation within the same year. So, it makes me wonder what he's done to make such drastic changes. And I'm hoping that he's, at the end of the day, putting health first. We've had a lot of tragedies in our sport, in our community, and we've lost a lot of great people. So I'm hoping he's being conscious and cognizant of the repercussions of potentially pushing the envelope on certain things. So I hope that he's being safe. I'm hoping that he's having everything monitored. Knock on wood, I want him to do very well, but it does worry me in the back of my mind. And, let me know your thoughts on that as well. Almost done here. We're going to talk about the Legion Sports Fest. I want to give a shout out to two gentlemen that recently won their divisions or their classes, I guess you could say, in the Masters. We have the 212, and then we also have the Open. Now, Yumon, I'm sure I butchered it. We actually just saw him at the Indy Pro, looking, really, really good. He came into this 35 plus Masters for the 212 and won it. I thought he won it handily. He looked phenomenal. The midsection is definitely looking a tad bit questionable. I'd like to see that tighten up just a little bit, but I think he's done what he needs to do to win that Masters 35 plus 212 title at the Legion Sport Fest just yesterday. I do also believe that he will be competing in the Open tomorrow, but don't butcher me if I get that wrong. Let's actually take a look here. So he's not on the Open card, but I can't remember if they have a 212 or not. I haven't heard anything about the 212. So if they don't, apologies. But if he does hop into the 212, I expect him in the first call out. He is a first call out competitor. And then also I want to give some love to the gentleman that won the Masters Open bodybuilding overall. He will also be competing in the Open, the Open in general, tomorrow. And that's going to be Kenneth Jackson, actually. I apologize. Kenneth Jackson. Thought he looked really, really good here. Great physique, great structure, brought really nice conditioning. The taper, spot on overall. I thought he earned it and did a phenomenal job. Don't think you're going to see any discrepancies with the criticisms or the critiques or the Generation Irons of the world. I don't think people are going to be too upset with this one. Thought it was well earned. Look forward to seeing him tomorrow in the Open. But definitely let me know your guys' thoughts and predictions on the men's open bodybuilding division coming into the Legion Sport Festival. Men's open bodybuilding tomorrow. I will be covering it. I will be posting my complete preview with the old school content here on BNN with the side-by-sides and the contest history. We will be doing that. It just takes a long time for me to put all this stuff together. So stay tuned for that today. And we're going to finish up with Missy Trescott, or Truscott. I'm sure I mess it up from time to time, but she also recently shared a physique update on her Instagram page, sharing a 10 weeks out from the Arnold Classic, just like the way Samson Dauda did to 10 weeks out from the Olympia this year. She looks really good. She looks a lot more ahead of the prep as she did compared to coming into the Arnold. Definitely, like I said, I still believe she's going to do fitness this year, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it should be her versus Jones, right? Ashley Jones or Brittany Jones, or I can't remember. I apologize. I'm drawing a blank here. But she is the favorite. She did win 2 years prior and then got beat out by the returning champ. It's like Whitney Johnson or something. Anyways, sorry guys. Really love her physique. She was with John Meadows. She did a really emotional speech at the Arnold. Just she seems to be a phenomenal person. I'm not really sure what else she's doing. She is with Axe and Sledge, so her and Lauren are on the same team. So kind of cool to hear about that. We will be having Lauren back on the show tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. That should be some fun content. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it sweet, keep it simple. Please subscribe if you have not. Like the video if you enjoy this style of content, and check out the description for all of my affiliate links. But that's it. I'm Saunch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in another episode.